The morning sun cast a golden glow over the dusty roads of Koudougou, a small town in Burkina Faso. Motorbikes buzzed past, women balanced baskets on their heads, and children, their worn-out sandals slapping against the earth, ran to school carrying tattered exercise books. Inside a modest SUV, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young president of Burkina Faso, sat quietly. He had deliberately left behind his presidential convoy, his motorcade, and even his heavy security detail. Today was not for politics. Today, he wanted to see the truth with his own eyes. "Take me to the village school," he told his driver firmly. "But no announcements. I want to arrive like an ordinary visitor." The driver nodded, surprised, but not questioning. After an hour, they reached a crumbling mud brick school at the edge of a millet field. Its faded paint peeled away like old bark, and half of the roof had caved in, leaving classrooms exposed to the harsh sun and rain. Dozens of children sat on wooden benches, some on the bare floor, scribbling with blunt pencils on frayed notebooks. Their teacher, a man with weary eyes but unshakable dedication, stood at the chalkboard, writing arithmetic problems with a stub of chalk. When Traoré stepped inside, the children fell silent. They had never seen this tall, broad-shouldered man in simple military fatigues before. He smiled, placing a finger over his lips, signaling them to stay calm. "Don't stop your lesson," he told the teacher. "I am just here to learn with them." The teacher, stunned, nodded, and continued. Traoré took a seat among the children, squeezing onto a bench beside a boy whose shirt was torn at the collar. The boy stared in disbelief as the president leaned over and whispered, "What are you learning?" "Multiplication," the boy replied shyly. "Then teach me," Traoré said. The boy's eyes widened. "Teach you?" "Yes," Traoré chuckled warmly. "Today you are my teacher." The classroom erupted in nervous laughter. Children forgot their fear as the boy stammered through his lesson, showing Traoré how to solve 7 times 8. The president wrote clumsily on a piece of paper, pretending to get it wrong so the children could correct him. For a moment, the room was not filled with the president and his people, but simply students and laughter. Just as the teacher was about to resume the lesson, a small girl at the back raised her hand timidly. Her braids were loose, and her uniform was torn at the sleeve. "Yes, little one?" Traoré asked gently. She hesitated, then spoke with childlike honesty. "Sir, it rains, we cannot learn. The roof leaks, and the water falls on our books. Sometimes we go home crying because our notebooks are spoiled." Her words fell like stones in the silence. Traoré felt his chest tighten. He looked up at the gaping holes in the roof, sunlight streaming through. He imagined rain pouring in, drenching these children who had come here with such determination. Another boy added softly, "And sometimes we are hungry. We cannot listen when our stomachs cry." The classroom went quiet again. Even the teacher lowered his head, ashamed that these truths had been spoken before a stranger. Traoré rose slowly, his eyes sweeping over the faces before him. Innocent eyes, hopeful eyes, children who deserved more than broken roofs and empty stomachs. He remembered his own childhood, running barefoot through the villages, studying under kerosene lamps, and watching his mother sacrifice her own food so that he could eat. These children were walking the same hard road, but now he had the power to change it. He clenched his fists, fighting back emotion. This was not just about buildings or food. It was about dignity. "Children," Traoré said, his voice steady but filled with passion, "you are the future of Burkina Faso. You deserve a school where the roof does not leak, where your books are safe, where your stomachs are not empty. You deserve more than this." The teacher raised his eyes, his lips trembling. The children leaned forward, wide-eyed. "I promise you," Traoré continued, "this school will not remain this way. We will build a new roof. We will bring desks, books, and food, and you will study without fear of rain or hunger." The children gasped. Some clapped instinctively, while the little girl who had spoken up smiled shyly, her eyes shining. The teacher stepped forward, tears streaming down his cheeks. "For years we have been forgotten. We have written letters, we have begged, but no one came. And now you," his voice broke,
You sit with our children, you listen to them, and you promise. This is a day I will never forget. Traoré placed a hand on his shoulder. Your dedication kept this school alive when others would have given up. You are a true hero. I am only here to serve your efforts. By the time Traoré left the school, villagers had gathered outside, word spreading that the president himself had sat in a classroom. Mothers held babies on their hips, fathers bowed respectfully, and children ran after his SUV shouting, "Traoré, Traoré!" No official speeches, no television cameras, no polished protocol, only raw, human connection. Yet by evening, pictures taken on mobile phones flooded social media. One image went viral. The president, seated on a tiny wooden bench, pencil in hand, listening to a barefoot boy explain multiplication. The caption read, "A president who learns with his children." Weeks later, construction began on the school. Trucks delivered cement, wood, and new desks. A lunch program was introduced, giving every child a simple meal of rice and beans daily. When the new roof was completed, Traoré returned, not as a visitor, but as a father figure. The little girl who had spoken up ran to him with a smile, showing her new notebook untouched by rain. "This time, when it rained, we kept learning," she said proudly. The story of that day became more than just a memory. It spread across Burkina Faso, inspiring teachers, students, and parents. Other schools began voicing their needs, and the government responded with urgency. But beyond infrastructure, something deeper had changed. The children now believed they mattered. They had spoken, and their leader had listened. Traoré often told his ministers afterwards, "Never forget, the true parliament of Burkina is not in the capital. It is in the classrooms, in the voices of our children." And so, the image of a president in a dusty classroom, learning multiplication from a child, remained etched in the nation's heart, proof that leadership is not about commanding from above, but about sitting among the people, listening and acting. One promise in a classroom, one leader who listened. This is more than a story. It's a reminder of the future we can all build together. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.